So it looks like Nintendo's lawsuit against Pocket Pair, the creators of Power World, is going to take a bit of a slight hit after the U.S. Patent Office director is going to order a re-examination on one of the patents that they're using in the lawsuit as to whether or not it is valid to be used, if they have prior artwork that supersedes them creating that patent back in September of this year, I believe. So we already covered a video. This was episode 15. Episode 15. Back in the middle of September, talking about how Nintendo is suing Power World. We all know this because copyright, because patent law, stuff like that. Nintendo had one, I believe it's patent 397. That's just a short form of the long form name of the patent, and it has to do with the sub character, summoning a sub character to, sit still or wait to be fought. Apparently, there are older patents back in the early 2000s that have now come to light as prior artwork that could upend that particular patent and then, in essence, rescind that from the lawsuit in general, further weakening Nintendo's position against Power World. This is crazy stuff. I'm actually kind of here for this a little bit, that Pocket Pair actually wins out against Nintendo against this lawsuit. I'm not a huge fan of either platform, either franchise right now. I haven't played Power World at all. Looked interesting. I haven't been interested in Pokemon. You guys can see my previous video talking about the latest release of Pokemon. I believe that wasn't too long ago, episode 31. So in that, talking about the newest game that just came out, the Z to A Pokemon game, which apparently has been given some negative viewpoints, reviews on the game itself and overall the franchise in totality. Honestly, I kind of hope this goes in one particular direction because I want Nintendo to kind of feel that they need to push the envelope a little bit more. Again, you guys go check out that video. I just don't play Pokemon nearly as much anymore as I used to because the game just doesn't do it for me right now. And based on the previous performance of this, the latest game, I'm just not going to be bothered with it. So we got one article in particular we're going to pull up. Video Games Chronicle has the headline: U.S. Patent Office Director orders a re-examination of Nintendo's patent on summoning characters to make them battle. Now, a re-examination of a particular patent is not a weird thing, but it's a very rare thing, apparently. Apparently, it has not been performed since 2012. I believe the article or somewhere also said there was maybe one back in 2019. I'm not sure. But to do this is very rare. Very, very rare. So we're going to go through a little bit of information real quick, and then we've got another article that we pulled up in the previous video, the 15th episode, GamesRay, which they do very in-depth legalistic terminology in terms of for video games, that they are 100% covering this. So I'm going to link both of those in the description down below if you guys want to get super crazy into the legalistic terms for all this stuff, which you guys are more than welcome to do. That's a little bit too much reading for me, but nonetheless, it's got huge pieces of information. But back in September, Nintendo was granted a U.S. patent which covers the actions of summoning another character and making them battle on the player's behalf. We know this. The most obvious example of this patent is the action in a Pokemon game where a player can summon a Pokemon and use them to battle other Pokemon on their behalf. However, as reported by GamesRay, the U.S. PTO director, John A. Squires, has personally ordered a re-examination of the patent, citing previous patents which may make it invalid. Specifically, Squires is focused on the patent's claims to have a sub-character fight alongside you with the option to make them fight either automatically or via manual control. Now, I remember reading this initially back in the previous video that this just seems like, well, yeah, how do you do that? So many games have exactly that. There's pictures of Pikmin on this article in particular. I believe somewhere else also mentioned like StarCraft. You're playing an RTS and you're making a bunch of sub characters that kind of sit around and wait to be engaged, or you can engage them yourself. Plenty of games have this. All of these are significantly older than the patent that Nintendo pushed for this back in September of this year or last year. Very recently. So I was just like, there's no way. And turns out there is no way. There is prior art. We scroll down a little bit. It's called the Yabe patent, referencing the developer working in Konami. So the Yabe patent was granted in 2002 to Konami and refers to a sub-character fighting alongside the player either automatically or manually. There you go. While the Tora patent, there's also a Tora patent, was granted back in 2020 to Nintendo itself and also refers to the sub-character who battles alongside the player. So they actually have an older patent back in 2020 that refers to that as refers to that situation as well, which is kind of funny. So they've double upped on the patent, I guess, but still, there is prior art which could, and this doesn't guarantee anything that it's just going to be completely thrown out, but it nonetheless is going to weaken the position that Nintendo has, because when they look at that, they're going to be like, okay, it's not that big of a deal patent-wise. Power World coming in, making a similar game to Pokemon, and them having systems similar in that regard is not going to move the needle in any which way direction. It's honestly going to move the needle back towards Power World's direction, in which, you know, they're not going to be in trouble for copyright infringement or patent infringement or any one of those things. So this is a huge blow to Nintendo's position. And again, honestly, I'm kind of hoping for this a little bit, for Nintendo to be like, we can't do anything against Power World. That sucks. And then other games coming in being like, oh, so we can do something similar to this. And then you're going to have a lot of other, I wouldn't say spin-offs, but a lot of, and I wouldn't say clones either, but similar games that operate much like this, just like Power World. And Power World has done exceedingly well. They've sold, what, 25 million copies of Power World? So it's just like, it's nice to see the market take the idea and iterate upon it when the original doesn't feel like doing it anymore. And based, again, on the previous performance of their most recent game that just came out, and how people are kind of upset and how lackluster it is, the combat, cool. They pushed it in one direction that I felt was the way to go. If they kept it very similar, dude, this game would have flopped hard. But nonetheless, I wouldn't say it flopped. I haven't taken a look at current updated stats on the newest Pokemon game, but people are complaining. It's very claustrophobic is one way I like to look at it. But I want Pokemon to, like I said in my previous video, to evolve, the franchise to evolve. And it takes something like Power World to kind of come out of left field and kind of usurp the throne a little bit away from Nintendo, for them to actually start thinking, okay, what do we need to do to our franchise to push it forward, to push the envelope, to make it better? Because it can't just remain stagnant, because that's how you get competition, and competition is going to take over. I'm all for this. This is free market at its finest. For the market to be like, we're going to make competitors, it's going to compete against Nintendo, it's going to compete against Pokemon to, like I said, usurp the throne. I'm here for it. I'm down for it. And this one further, drops off Nintendo's ability to, knock Power World down a peg. But it also just, it's funny that something that existed for a couple decades just went right over their head when they put in the patent. Not that the patent office is perfect. They aren't. They, apparently they don't re-examine often. So who's to say what else is in the patent office that needs to be re-examined? But, for them to think that they can just push something in and no one noticed, something as old as 2002, when it comes to a sub-character fighting alongside the player with an automatic or a manual mode switch. I mean, come on. You can't assume that stuff. So it's great to see. It's great to see. So also, I do want to point out again the GameStraight article that you guys can go into, which has exactly where it's heading: in-depth reporting and analytical commentary on games industry and related regulatory issues. No legal advice. Love that headline. But perfect stuff. Huge blow to Nintendo. Head of the U.S. Patent Office takes rare step to order re-examination of summon sub-character and let it fight in one of two modes. Patent, manual or automatic. And again, so many games have this. Like, it kind of blew my mind a little bit. I'm just like, there's no way no one patented it earlier on, and there's no way all the games in existence that have exactly that situation, even MOBAs have that, right? There are probably some characters that have a summon character that sits with you and just attacks when an enemy is nearby. Like, come on. There's just no way. But yeah, nonetheless, huge blow to Nintendo's case against Power World. And like I said, I'm here for it. Let me know if you guys are also here for it. If you guys don't care too much about Pokemon, not as like, I love Pokemon, especially like I said in the previous video that I'm a huge fan, especially of the original The original games, I played most of the original games, like the first couple of generations, and then I just kind of fell off because the game didn't really do it for me nearly as much anymore. Not that there were other games like that, because like I said, there's not much competition against Pokemon until mainly Power World kind of came in, other RPGs, but that's beside the point. Nothing in Pokemon really did it for me, so I just kind of fell off. Nothing, the game didn't evolve. That's honestly the best way to put it. Pokemon, the game of evolution, did not evolve. It remained stagnant. It remained extremely stagnant, which is kind of funny. It's really kind of funny. So hopefully something like this well, again, we're gonna have to wait and see how the lawsuit is going to end. If Power World is just gonna be like, we're good, Nintendo's gonna be like, okay, we can't do anything about it. Are they gonna do anything about it in the future? Or, well, I think, okay, so basically, if Nintendo does not get to win out on this lawsuit against Pocket Pair, against Power World, then they have one of two choices: just lose the competition, or they're going to push the game forward. And actually, granted, this isn't Nintendo making the game, it's still, Game Freak, but nonetheless, they're going to harp on Game Freak to be like, okay, Pokemon is a huge IP for us, it's a huge franchise for us, what are we going to do about this? Other competition, this is going to invite other competition to make similar games like this to, like I said, usurp the throne. It's all in Nintendo's court at this point. And I don't know how much this is going to knock back the ruling for Nintendo. I just imagine it's a relatively huge blow. It was a major portion of it. That was one of the 3 patents that they're using in the lawsuits. The other ones I don't think were as strong, but this one, that's the huge one. The sub-character Pokemon standing still or engaging automatically in a fight. That is, I think, probably the most major aspect of it. Other than, I don't even know, or at least I don't remember if it had anything to do with the artwork or something like that. I have no idea. But again, I'm here for this. I'm here for the blowback. I'm here for all of it. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. If which way you're leaning for this lawsuit. If you want Nintendo to win out because Power World you think is bad, it's doing something bad, or do you think Power World is a legitimate competitor to Pokemon that deserves to do what it's doing and to keep doing what it's doing? And again, I'm even down for more competition to come out of left field. Maybe an indie studio can get involved a little bit, even though is Pocket Pair more or less indie studio? Doesn't matter. More competition is better for the market overall. That's what's nice about having the market that we do have, especially here in the United States, even in the EU, especially Japan. Like this is gonna be huge. So I'm interested to see how this unfolds. I will definitely be watching out for any updates to this to see if Nintendo's is going to pull out prematurely or go to its inevitable conclusion of, Power World's probably going to stick around. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. But with that, dudes, I am out of here. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video and sub for more. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. We'll be back on tomorrow for another video about something going on in the gaming world. So you guys have a good rest of your Tuesday. I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Until then, I will see you guys later.